So it's time for MMA fighter Sugar Sean O'Malley to become #1 in the UFC bantamweight rankings. A promising and charismatic prospect with an extraordinary appearance confirmed his words with deeds, and he loves to talk and skillfully uses trash talk to promote his fights. Sean puts on a spectacular Suga Show every time he steps into the octagon. O'Malley received Performance of the Night or Fight of the Night bonuses for each of his fights, except for his only loss in a missed fight with Pedro Munoz. The spectacle of his fights and his unique style of fighting have gathered a huge army of fans behind him. Sugar has reached the ceiling of his popularity and fighting form, and 2023 will be the most important year of his career, as his fight for the title in the best league in the world is just around the corner. The Montana native hones his fighting skills alongside former UFC lightweight champion Benson Henderson and Brian Barberena at John Crouch's MMA lab in Arizona. O'Malley turned pro in early 2015 and, under Crouch's tutelage, has worked his way up to a 4-0 record in the local promotion in his home state. At 5'11" and a 72-inch arm span, an astounding figure by bantamweight standards, the full-blooded striker has learned to optimize his physique through quality shot selection and a solid understanding of timing. In October 2016, O'Malley entered the Intense Championship Fighting 26 octagon for his 5th professional fight against the undefeated Tyson Lin of Washington. He held a 2-0 record and defeated both of his opponents ahead of schedule in the first round. Sean at that time had 3 early wins and won by unanimous decision. Spinning hook in the first seconds performed by Lin then intrigued the audience. He had started more actively and hit well with left crosses. O'Malley often alternated stances to confuse the enemy and fired with his feet from a distance. He landed well with a right hook, and the fighters exchanged head kicks. A beautiful throw from Sean coupled with a tight middle kick. Sugar began to seize the initiative and fed Lin a whole plateful of crosses. O'Malley felt like the owner of the octagon and, with a characteristic gesture of his fingers, invited Tyson to cut himself, and later his failed spinning hook grimaced. At the end of the round, Sugar put pressure and took control with an active attack. In the second round, there was some control on the ground after a takedown from Sean. As soon as Lin got up, he immediately found himself on the floor again from a powerful cross of O'Malley. Tyson missed a few more heavy finishing blows, but Sean let him get up, but only to drop again with a right head kick. One finishing blow, and the referee stopped the fight. The first defeat for Tyson Lin, and Sugar O'Malley continues his winning streak. In May 2017, Sean traveled to Phoenix, Arizona to fight at Legacy Fighting Alliance 11 against David Nuzzo. Bad News had a solid 9-1 record and was on a 4-win streak. Indeed, with Bad News, David Nuzzo returned home after the fight. O'Malley put on the show again. He was as confident and fearless as possible in the cage. He moved easily, lowered his arms, and often changed his stance. Nuzzo tried to advance, but Sean skillfully left and fired at him with his feet on all fours. In the second minute, Sugar hit with a heavy overhand, and a few seconds later, he demolished the opponent with a powerful left head kick. Bad News was able to get up, but soon fell back to his knees from a left hook. A bold and beautiful point in this confrontation was put by an accurate spinning hook to the head performed by Sean O'Malley. It took Sugar a little more than 2 minutes to consistently dismantle the opponent for parts. Sean O'Malley capitalized on the buzz he got from that fight and entered the second series of Dana White's Contender, where he literally punched his ticket to the big show by knocking out Alfred Kashakian in the first round, celebrating his win with "Welcome to the Sugar Show." Let's remember how it went. Kashakian, nicknamed the Fearless, began to actively press, but O'Malley caught him well with counterpunches. Kazakian had a successful takedown and controlled the stalls for about a minute. Sean fought back with up kicks and was able to get up. Sugar tried to catch the opponent with counter and explosive blows, and he succeeded. He first rocked the Fearless with a hard right cross, adding a jump knee, and then punch after punch began to take his soul. At the last minute, an accurate right cross to the jaw put an end to the fight. Dana White was delighted with the knockout of Sugar O'Malley. He signed with the UFC with an excellent 8-0 record, including 7 stoppages and wins. Sugar O'Malley's first 2 fights in the best league in the world were not easy, but he won 2 victories by unanimous decision and even received a Fight of the Night bonus. And in March 2020, he entered the octagon against Mexican Jose Alberto Quinones. The Mexican El Teco lost only once in the last 6 fights and confidently went out for victory. O'Malley confidently started the fight, and in the first seconds, he knocked down his opponent with a front kick. Then he fired at Quinones with kicks from a distance for a whole minute, avoiding all the blows. In the middle of the second minute, El Teco first ate a powerful right hook, and then a sharp middle kick to the ribs. The Mexican constantly pressed, but did not keep up with the Sugar footwork. Quinones decided to speed up, but Sean abruptly threw him on inertia to the cage and fired a powerful head kick. Several finishing punches, and the referee stops this beating. O'Malley calmly and unemotionally celebrates another early victory, as if it could not be otherwise. For this fight, Sugar received the Performance of the Night award. 3 months later, Sean again fought at the UFC 250 tournament with mixed martial arts veteran Eddie Wineland, who has been alternating victories with defeats lately. Wineland immediately occupied the center of the ring and began to advance. O'Malley, in his manner, moved a lot, skillfully shifted from the line of attack, and shot front kicks in the stomach from a distance. The veteran met Sean well with a right cross early in the second minute. Sugar went on the offensive, hit a back kick to the body, and hooked it hard with a jab, but Wineland dodged a beautiful spinning hook. And immediately O'Malley knocked out his opponent with a single right cross. It is a pity that then there were no spectators due to COVID measures. Otherwise, the auditorium would have exploded with applause. Confident in his athletic form, Sean again entered the octagon 2 months later, but received his first defeat from the same promising prospect, Marlon Vera. The hype-train Sugarka was suspended a little, and the haters happily repeated that before, that he was just lucky. But he could not cope with worthy opposition. He needed to rehabilitate himself and shut up all those who doubted him, and in March 2021, at the UFC 260 tournament, he got a chance to do it in a duel with an experienced Brazilian, Thomas Almeida, nicknamed Munoz. This Brazilian puncher used to have a 21-0 record, but got his first loss to the well-known Cody Garbrandt. Now he was on a series of 3 defeats in a row, and this fight was important for him, as he was threatened with dismissal from the UFC. For 3 minutes of the first round, the fight was relatively calm in reconnaissance mode. Sean worked at the opening and threw a lot of different kicks to the body and legs of the Brazilian, among which was a good back kick. But then Almeida missed a heavy high kick to the head that shocked him. Sugar added a powerful finishing left hook and thought it would be enough, but only lost time. The Brazilian got up and continued to fight. He took on a hard spinning hook but survived. Until the end of the round, O'Malley was chasing the head of Munoz, pressing, inflicting many blows, but he could not knock him out. The second round passed without strong exacerbations. A couple of tight crosses from Sean flew in, and in terms of the numbers of significant blows, he was many times ahead of the Brazilian. Realizing that he was losing on points, Almeida stepped up in the third round and began to attack more actively, but Sugar, using the length of his arms, did not let him approach and skillfully met the opponent. And at the end of the fourth minute, Munoz fell from the left cross, and one brutal finishing blow put an end to this confrontation. Once again, O'Malley received a bonus for the performance of the evening and shut up his haters. The next opponent of the Sugar Showman was former Naga grappling champion Chris Mutino, for whom it was his debut in the UFC. The guys made a great fight, and both got the Fight of the Night bonus. It turns out that Chris Mutino has an impenetrable chin. How many heavy blows to the head did he miss? It seemed that everything that Sean threw out flew right into Chris's face, but he went on and on and on. Everyone would envy such a fighting spirit, but no one would want to take such damage. Throughout the fight, Mutino went forward, and Sugar, on the move, beat the attacker's head as he wanted. At the end of the first round, Sean dropped his opponent with a right cross, but the bell saved Chris. In the second and third rounds, this locomotive named Mutino was unstoppable. The whole fight we watched as O'Malley beat the opponent, but he did not want to give up. And at the end of the third round, Sugar accelerated and carried out a powerful attack with combinations of blows, after which referee Herb Dean stopped this beating. Chris Mutino's face was very different from the one with which he entered the octagon. In December 2021, Sean again entered the octagon to fight the Brazilian Highland Paiva. He started poorly in the UFC with 2 losses, but was now on a 3-fight streak and was set for a 4th. Almost the entire round, O'Malley worked and successfully carried out counterattacks. But the truth was that he overdid it once and hit the groin. At the end of the round, Sean went on the offensive and first shocked the Brazilian with a powerful right hook and unleashed a hail of finishing punches near the cage. At the 4:42 mark, the referee stopped this brutal one-sided beating. Sugar gets his 15th professional victory and again receives the Performance of the Night bonus for such a spectacular finish. O'Malley defeated former champion Peter Yan by a split decision in October at UFC 280, putting him in the top bantamweight contender. The road to the belt in 2023 is looking a bit hazy as champion Aljamain Sterling has gotten himself into a Twitter battle with Henry Cejudo. But O'Malley is first in line for what could happen this summer. We and all his fans are looking forward to the new bright performances of this talented fighter and showman. And you, our dear viewers, don't forget to like this video. If you haven't subscribed yet, be sure to do so. And we're preparing a lot of hot content from the MMA world. Also, share your impressions and favorite knockouts in the comments. We'll see you soon.